In this comprehensive video, we will take a closer look at the main features and some of the key advantages offered by the ARW-100 Compact Surface Roughness Tester, available from ARWMisure. This instrument comes in a protective carrying case which contains all components and accessories needed for the calibration process. The complete calibration system with the reference specimen, the compact and portable device itself, and the dedicated power supply system, which allows you to recharge the instrument. This instrument comes fully equipped with a built-in internal battery pack for portable use. As we can clearly see, the overall design is compact and streamlined, which effectively means it takes up very little physical space on your workbench and is also incredibly easy to operate across a wide range of applications. This design also clearly results in a lower cost compared to instruments that utilize separate probes, which at the same time tend to offer a higher level of performance than this model. Furthermore, those alternative devices are often more limited both in terms of their market price and their range of application. The main features that define this professional instrument, and specifically we are talking about the ARW-100 Digital Surface Roughness Tester from ARW Measurements, are its exceptional ease of use and intuitive operation. This means it doesn't require any special time-consuming configurations through complicated or deep menus. Instead, everything revolves around 3 simple tactile buttons, and it features a very straightforward and simple setup for any operator. On the bottom surface area of the instrument, we have the support unit, which is specifically designed to include a protective cover for the stylus. By carefully sliding open a side window, we successfully release both the translator and the diamond stylus. This particular device is designed and used specifically to carry out the measurement. At the top, we have the main power button for the unit, and we have the standard USB connection port, which is exclusively utilized for the purpose of charging the battery. There is no external data connection and no complex data management, precisely because this is a compact version, a very simple version to use. The distinctive characteristic of measuring instruments that have the probe practically built into the unit, a crucial consideration that must be made is the specific nature of the probe's travel. This essentially means that the probe has a more limited range of movement when compared to instruments equipped with a separate external probe. Therefore, if we are dealing with surfaces that have high levels of roughness, such as, for example, those resulting from sandblasting or other types of roughness, on rougher surfaces, this instrument may have difficulty getting a clear reading, whereas for all those applications involving fine roughness or textures resulting from mechanical processes, such as turning, milling, grinding, and so on, it is an instrument that is very well suited for this use, and it also comes at a very attractive cost. Power button. The instrument is equipped with an OLED display, a screen that allows for optimal viewing from any angle, which is a truly remarkable and interesting feature. And right next to it, we have the various function buttons. The function buttons are simple, and as we previously mentioned, they are very easy to operate. There is a specific button that allows us to manually set the preferred unit of measurement. By simply pressing and holding it down for a moment, we can easily change it whenever needed. To microns or inches. So imperial measurement, metric measurement. There is another button, also located on the side. We have the option to change the parameter, specifically the parameter that we are currently viewing. In this section, this instrument allows you to set 4 different parameters at once. Once we have successfully taken the measurement, we can also check them, viewing each one individually to ensure accuracy. You just need to change and directly set the parameters that interest you. RA, RZ, RQ, and RT are the most commonly used parameters. The button next to it, in addition to setting the unit of measurement, such as micro-inch, also allows us to set the well-known cutoff parameter. Here we have categorized these settings as 1, 2, and 3. It is simply the well-known standard parameter that allows us to define the total length of the path, also depending heavily on the magnitude of the surface roughness. Setting 1 corresponds to a value of 0.25, setting 2 corresponds to 0.8, and setting 3 corresponds to 2.5. a cutoff value of 0.25 is used. For 0 to 1 micron of surface roughness in raw, then from 1 to 2.5 microns, a value of 2.5 is used. For raw, parameter 2 is used, and 3 is used above 2.5. Regarding the various functions of the buttons on this device, we can now say that we have thoroughly covered almost everything you need to know. However, there is another additional button that we should discuss, which is the dedicated measurement button. This specific measurement button is what allows us to actually take a reading from the device. In this particular case, we can carefully place the unit onto a flat surface and then press the button directly, just like this. One very important thing to keep in mind throughout this entire process is to closely observe the exact position and alignment of the probe to ensure accuracy. There are two arrows that help us understand where we need to position it. Obviously, if we position it like this, in this way, the probe will not be resting on the surface. Once we have placed it down in the correct spot, we can then proceed with the measurement reading. Once we have finished the measurement reading, the final value is displayed directly on the digital screen. By using the parameter change button, we can easily scroll through the different available parameters. These include RZ, RQ, and RT, which represents the peak-to-peak maximum. The RT is essentially the peak value, and you can have all of them displayed directly on the main screen without ever having to look for them in a menu. As we have clearly seen, the primary characteristics and key features are very simple. The use is very intuitive and straightforward, and it is a truly compact instrument, just as the specific term itself suggests. There is just one final feature to mention. A functionality we can mention is the calibration function. The calibration function is carried out directly on a standardized test specimen, which is a specimen that is included with the device. This specimen is kept inside its own protective case because the sample must be properly preserved. This is essential because, as you can clearly see, the part of the specimen visible to us, where the detailed knurling is located, represents the exact path where we need to perform our measurement. This measurement area is extremely delicate and can be easily damaged, so it must be properly preserved and handled with great care. Once we have carefully removed the specimen, we securely position it directly onto the base, and the calibration procedure is straightforward and easy to follow. We need to turn off the device completely, and with the device off, press and hold down the main power button while turning the device back on. This device will automatically configure and set itself to the exact value of the supplied specimen. It comes to you already fully configured. All we need to do now is ensure that we place the device with proper care. As always, be sure to pay very close attention to the available space provided for the probe and its path of travel, making absolutely sure to center it directly on the specimen. Then you may proceed to perform the calibration process. Once the calibration process is complete, so 1.47, which is the value of the specimen we have supplied, we can turn off the device and it is now calibrated. Now, to finish, let's list the advantages we can have with this type of device. First of all, the main advantage is definitely the compactness of the device. So let's say it essentially allows us to have a very compact, very simple, and an incredibly easy to use, highly efficient portable device. Another advantage is definitely the standard equipment, which allows us to have the grassiness specimen. The reference unit and the power supply are already included with the device. For charging, the device does not have data management. The power supply is exclusively utilized via the USB port for the purpose of charging the device. Another key feature and a significant advantage is the integrated probe system, which in some specific cases can be considered a disadvantage, but in many other cases can also be seen as a major advantage. That is to say, the device is equipped with a protective sliding closure window that allows you to safely store the probe and prevent any potential damage to it. This specific kind of physical damage can also occur with a device that has a completely separate external probe. This closing window is remarkably fascinating, and it is also very useful for this specific device. Another interesting feature to note is the fact that it has a very simple and straightforward calibration system, which provides you with the convenient ability, just by simply pressing the power button once and the dedicated measurement activation button, to immediately access the integrated calibration mode and, using the standardized test piece provided in the kit, to carefully execute the full calibration procedure directly, making sure to thank you, carefully set and position the specialized device with the probe in the exact correct spot on the test piece, specifically where the area to be tested is located. With a simple firm press of the dedicated measurement button, the full calibration is performed. This is a process that is really very easy and straightforward for anyone to do. Another major advantage is the very straightforward keypad, making it extremely easy to use. Thank you very much. Here is the power button and the measurement button. And here we have two buttons. One button with an arrow pointing upward that allows us, by holding it down, to easily change the unit of measurement, or to set the well-known cutoff, the parameter related to 0.25 from 0 to 1 micron, 0.8 from 1 micron to 2.5 microns in area, and 2.5 and above. Here it is identified as 1, 2, and 3, the well-known cutoff, which determines the length of the path. The other button instead allows us to scroll through 4 parameters. This instrument is capable of measuring 4 parameters: RA, RZ, RQ, and RT. Therefore, RA is the most commonly used, as well as RZ. RT is the peak-to-peak and the maximum value. When we take a measurement, we can scroll through them directly. RA, RZ. This way, we have direct conversion between the various parameters without having to enter the menu and make specific settings. The last feature and advantage we can mention is the fact that the instrument has a support base that we can place directly on flat surfaces. Furthermore, at the same time, it also features a specialized V-groove that allows us to securely place the instrument directly on a surface as well. Thank you very much. Circular. In this case, we have a pipe with a diameter of about 1 inch, and we can also rest it directly on circular parts. Here is this instrument being a compact tool. If we need to, we can also take measurements while holding the instrument in our hand, that is, by placing the tube directly against it. Or if we have small pieces, in this case it's a fairly large tube, but if we have small pieces, we can hold the tube directly and proceed with the measurement. As for the demonstration of the instrument and the various advantages offered by the ARW-100 surface roughness tester from ARWMisure, we've covered everything. For further information and clarifications, please refer to the title shown in this video.